is Naili Aman.
This is Auntie Bangi.
And this is Ignatius Bright Iwo.
From Sacred Heart Parish Youth Choir, Derby Avenue.
You are listening
to Radio Angelus on
radioangelus.accra.catholic.org.
Inspiring, educating programs. Radio Angelus.
Be Catholic to Radio Angelus on www.radioangelus.accra.catholic.org.
Okay, and we are live here in the studios, right here in the studios of Radio Angelus. A warm evening to all our listeners and our viewers. Yes, October for you, Charlie. More things they go on, but God has been faithful, and so anytime I come here, all I say is that we should always give praise and honor to whoever is due, and it is to our Maker. He is the reason why we are living, the reason why we find ourselves here today. So we want to thank God this evening for all that He's doing for us and all that He is about doing for us. So this evening, ladies and gentlemen, cherished viewers and listeners, I want you to stay glued to your seats. We have something very interesting for you. You know that in this particular month, it has been captioned the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I don't understand why they are using October for that. They should have used any other month, but to use October, Charlie, they will answer because October is my month. So you guys have made it too feminine. But all the same, it is for the good of the people. So we move. So this month we are talking about breast cancer awareness, and I have a very deep person, a resource person, somebody who is a brother, is a friend, and he's going to help us to delve into the issues of this particular ailment. So let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will talk.
Radio Angelus, 24-hour online radio for Accra and surrounding districts. Radio Angelus, 24-hour online radio for Accra and surrounding districts.
For a total Catholic radio experience, Radio Angelus is your best choice.
Angelus, and of course it is your favorite program, that is the Youth Agenda. Charlie, the Youth Agenda is for the youth and by the youth. So we want you to call everybody, those of us online right now, please kindly call your friends, call your relatives, tell them that we are going to talk about something very interesting this evening, and it is the breast cancer awareness month. So it's about breast cancer. This evening we are talking about breast cancer. The breast. So anything about it, just put your questions down. You can send it to us on Facebook Live or you can send us a WhatsApp message on 055,300, 055,300, and our resource person will be delighted to answer our questions for us. So let's just get to the introduction aspect. I want to introduce to us our resource person. He is by the name Dr. Jude Asante Mafo, and like I told you earlier, he's a brother. He was actually a colleague in school, and today he is a medical doctor by profession. And Charlie, we are all happy to have him, all these years back to us as a medical doctor. And he's just the right person for me to choose for this particular discussion. Dr. Jude, you are welcome to the studios.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, how has it been? Back to Ghana, doing all the rounds. What have you been up to?
It has not been easy. You come back after this number of years, then the culture shock, and they call it.
Yeah.
You come and then you have to look at the differences of things you've gotten used to being away, and then the extreme changes, particularly in Ghana card. Because I had an experience at the bank. I came back and I wanted to go gain access to my money, and they are telling me no Ghana card, no withdrawal. Go get a Ghana card and come back. And that Ghana card, the queue and all that, it wasn't easy. And the lady, I remember the teller told me that get ready for a culture shock.
Yeah, because there are a lot of things.
Yeah, and in fact, there has been a lot of shock waves going up and down.
The country has evolved in your absence, but you are still Ghanaian, so Charlie.
Yeah. We are getting used to it because it doesn't. It's cleaning away all the things you've gotten acclimated to back in China. So we do what we can.
Okay. And then back here in the hospitals, any new thing, any information?
I think largely the difference you see mostly is due to facilities.
Okay.
But the knowledge is the same everywhere, because medicine is the same medicine studied everywhere. Okay. But you look at the facilities available, that's what brings the main difference. So surgeries or procedures that will take less time to perform in China might take hours to perform here. Because, for instance, in China, when they are having this anastomosis, where they have to join two guts together and so on, they have this mechanical machine that will just staple everything together within 2 minutes. But I come to a place that don't have those items. They would have to do it by hand. So the suture and the needle, and you have to do it suture by suture. So that takes a lot of time, and also putting more stress on the patient also. But with this one, the machine make it so simple, and you are done. And they've even got into where they have robotic surgery and so on. But I'm yet to see one in Ghana.
My Ghana.
Okay, I'm yet to see one in Ghana, but the hospital I've been to, I've not seen one yet.
Okay.
So maybe it's somewhere, but I've not gained access to it yet.
Anyway, we are praying that the country develops as time goes, and since people like you are around, Charlie, the knowledge will still be deep.
We hope it will stay long.
So this is just an advice to the youth. He left Ghana and he's back. You get it? He left Ghana and he's back. Charlie, the brain drain is too much. Yes, the country, Charlie, we won't talk much about it, but please, if you go and you gain the knowledge, come back and help us. That is all that we need. Okay, so that is just something that we should emulate from Dr. Jude. All right, so Doctor, this evening we want to talk about breast cancer. It is the topic for the month. I think it's a world issue, a global issue. And to start with, what at all is the breast cancer about? What is it?
When we talk about breast cancer, I think we cannot talk about the cancer when we talk about the breast.
Yes, of course.
And, when you come to Ghana, I don't know whether it's a country of breast lovers. I think in this very month, I've seen a lot of memes going around, especially the guys that suck a breast, save a sister, and all those things. In as much as we are having fun and all that in the month, we should not also forget that it's a serious issue that we need to attach that level of seriousness to it when it comes to the awareness creation. So we all know that the breast is mostly something that we found on every human being.
Okay.
Males have breasts as well as females.
Okay.
But in the female, it's more obvious because of its nature, the way it's
Okay.
able to extend from the skin. So
Okay.
it's more obvious in the female. So we talk about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mostly attention goes to the female than the male. But
Yeah.
that doesn't defeat the fact that male also could get breast cancer, about
Oh.
a percentage, 1%.
Okay.
But majority of patients that we come across are mostly the female in nature. And when you talk about breast cancer, first let's look at the cancer. Cancer is any cell that has grown out of control.
Okay.
Because science makes us understand that when a new cell is born, it should take a number of days, then afterwards it should die for new ones to come up.
Okay.
So when you take a cell like the red blood cells, it's supposed to die after 120 days. It should die.
Okay.
So when that is about to happen, after 120 days, the mechanisms of the cells itself cause the cells to go under what we call apoptosis.
Okay.
That is to more or less like to commit suicide.
Okay.
So the cells or mechanisms will
Okay.
initiate that, and then the old cell will die. The new cells will take over.
Nice
But
one.
when a particular cell refuses to
die.
die, then it begins to grow anyhow. We call
Okay.
the proliferation.
Okay.
Begin to proliferate anyhow.
Okay.
It begins to grow, and then at the end we have these cancerous cells, and they are
cells.
able to generate their own channel of vessels, generate their own channels to obtain nutrients and all that. So they are quite stubborn, as we might put it. But then, what makes breast cancer or cancer itself dangerous is that when you come to the hospital and then we check and we say you have a benign cancer, there are two forms. You say you have a benign cancer. For that one, the doctor will even be happy for you, even though it's a disease. Let's put it that way. But a doctor will not be as worried as he would when we hear of malignant cancer,
Okay.
because a benign cancer is one that is stationed at one particular place.
Okay.
It's not extending its boundaries. It's stationed at
It's
one
just
place.
there.
It's just there. So with that one, if it needs to be removed, it's quite easily. You just open up and then just
you
get
take
that
it
sample
off.
out, and that's all.
Okay.
But malignant cancers are what gives us a lot of worries. When you come and say we tell you have malignant cancer, it means that the cancer has moved away from its origin, where it started from. It has now spread to other
It's
areas.
growing. It's actually growing.
Yeah, and extending its boundaries to other areas, invading other organs and tissues, and that is the one that is most dangerous. But then we should still keep an eye for both the benign and the malignant. So when we say breast cancer, it means cancer that has appeared in the breast. As simple as that.
Okay, so you mentioned the fact that it also occurs in men.
Yeah.
And the fact that we are talking about women, some men to do have. So let's look at the symptoms. And is it, and if we're talking about symptoms, does it are the symptoms applicable to both the man and then the woman in that sense?
Oh yeah,
So look at the
they are applicable since they all have the same. They are found at the same position, which is the chest area, and so the symptoms are quite straight forward. But I think with men we don't have a lot of men, so I'll focus mostly on the women.
Okay.
Because I believe if there is any creature that knows their body very very well, it's a female.
Yes.
Females have assessed their body, so they are
Yes.
able to catch the latest of changes that occurs.
Yes.
So when you talk about symptoms of breast cancer, a woman will be able to best describe it. Because first of all, most people that come to the hospital where breast cancer is caught at the earliest stage is when they feel a difference in their breast. That's the difference could be due to a lump.
Okay.
They feel a lump that shouldn't be there.
Okay.
Since they've maybe, let's say, they have had a chance to examine their breast
breast.
most often, so they know how it feels at every area.
Okay.
So the moment they feel something that is uneven, a breast, a lump, a stony, something tender over there, then it brings an alarm to them that, no, let me go and get this thing checked out. That's why we always encourage self-breast examination at home. At least do it every month if you are not too busy. And you shouldn't be too busy to do it. It will just take less than 10 minutes to do this.
do that.
So the first change you see is a lump in the breast. But if you are someone who is not checking the breast and so you miss that lump, there are other changes that might show up. That's when you stand in front of a mirror, you might notice a significant change in size
Okay.
of one or both of the breast.
Okay.
So you take, for instance, a lady who knows the body very well. Let's say she stands before the mirror and the right breast is obviously outgrowing the left breast. This is definitely a concern that she needs to be alarmed at. But it is also normal to have the left breast looking a little bit bigger than the right. And that's because of the positioning of the heart in that area. So the way the heart is aligned over there, the apex of the heart pushes the left breast a little bit forward. So it might look like if it's bigger than the right breast, but that's not the case. So it's normal to look at it and then you see a slight bigger change. But if the change is too obvious, whereby one is almost maybe 10 centimeters, when one is about 5, you should say that this thing is highly asymmetric, and you need to take attention. Then the other one might be what we call the peau l'orange. It's a French word meaning orange peel skin.
Okay.
So you look at the breast, and then the breast is looking like the skin of an orange. With dimplings all around it. Okay. That one also should be an alarm to you. Then there are times when the nipple will be having discharge.
Okay.
That should, if you are not breastfeeding and you are having discharge from the nipple, it should be an alarm to you. It should be an alarm. And the discharge, it can come in various colors. Some are red, which is obviously blood in nature. Others are yellowish and so on. That's what I'm saying. If you are not breastfeeding, you are not a lactating mother, and then you are having discharge from the nipple, I suggest you seek medical attention. And then the obvious ones would be the reddening, the swellings, and then maybe at the areola side, you see obvious dimplings that are more deepening than they should be. Then the one too should be a cause for alarm for you to seek medical. So that can be most of the symptoms that we talk about.
Okay. And then you made mention of a lump. I asked some few ladies about it, and they are saying, usually there's always a lump in the breast. I want to since you're an expert, I want to find out if true. Is it true that they are saying, there's always a lump in the breast? Is there always something like that in the breast?
I will understand why they will say there is always a lump in the breast, because there are instances in the life of the lady or a female whereby these lumps might develop, and they might not necessarily be cancerous in nature. That we can talk about period getting to their menstruation. They might be due to the breast becoming tender in awaiting for the period of menstruation. There might be lump noticeable over there, or after menstruation, during the ovulatory phase, when they are ovulating, there's a possibility of having a lump over there. That's why when you get to the hospital, you are asked various questions to ascertain the type of lump that is over there. And then one thing you should also note is that if you find a lump, and a lump is the same size, let's say for weeks, it's not growing, then once the point it just disappears, it's probably not cancer. But if that lump is growing in size, it used to be maybe like the size of a bean. That's come to a peanut. It's growing bigger. It's that one, you have to have a sense of a lump. But I wouldn't say there's always lump in the breast. And some of the things we call lump too, they are lymph nodes. Because when you look at it, the breast is closer to the armpit, what we call axilla. And there are lots of axillary lymph nodes over there. And these axillary lymph nodes might, at a point in time, get swollen once in a while. And a swollen lymph node too is something that we doctors look out for when we are checking for this breast examination, because that one too might give a fair idea. Maybe the lump might not be in the breast, but it might have gone to the lymph area. So we check that one also to give us a clear idea of what is happening. And those lymph nodes are one of the key areas that give fair idea as to what a woman's or a patient's condition is all about. It can be maybe a cancer from under region that is draining its content into that lymph node and all that. So yeah.
All right. So I think that we are educating ourselves. Very soon we will go to our page to take some few comments So please let your comments come through. Our medical personnel is here to answer any question that you are doubting, anything that you think that you need to know as far as breast cancer is involved. Don't worry, just send your comments in, and he'll be here or he's already here to do that for us. Doc, let's look at, since we are now getting to understand that it is predominant in women. What kind of woman should will fall prey to if I'm using my right words to breast cancer? Is it for a particular race, or at what age is somebody likely to have
get breast cancer?
That? Yes.
Oh, okay. With that, meaning, if I'm to put your question the right medical way, they're talking about risk factors of breast cancer.
Exactly.
Who is at risk of getting breast cancer?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
With that one, we can group them into the risk factors that you cannot change.
Okay.
That no matter what you do, that risk factor is attached to
the,
you. And then we can put into risk factors that can be changed with lifestyle moderation and so on.
Okay.
So if we take the risk factors that cannot be changed, the first risk factor is that being a woman puts you at risk of breast cancer.
Okay.
Just by being the gender woman,
okay,
you're at risk of breast cancer. And then the other one will also be women who had early onset of menstruation.
Wow.
Yeah, women who had early onset of menstruation also are at more risk to getting breast cancer than
any reasons
counterpart. It is understood by science that the more a woman is exposed to estrogen, that's the hormone that makes a woman, the likely the chance of getting breast cancer. So if at the age of 8 someone starts menstruation and a counterpart started at the age of 15, this person has had about 7 years exposure to estrogen than her other counterpart. So that's why I said that there's a probability of an increased risk in such a person.
Okay.
So when we talk about early menses, we're talking about girls less than 12 years old.
Okay.
People get menses before the age of 12. It's a risk factor to breast cancer. And then also, we can have women who get menopause at a later stage in life.
Okay.
Later, so early menses and then late menopause. So after age, that one we put a age over there after age 55. If you are still menstruating after age 55, then that one to puts you risk to breast cancer. And the reason is the same thing, because of the continuous exposure to estrogen. Because at age 50, we should expect that you are done with estrogen, you see. And then at age 8, it should not even have anything to do with estrogen at all.
Yes.
So all these ones are factors. And then the one important thing that we are mostly worried about is the genetic makeup of the individual.
Okay.
So there is this gene BRCA1, BRCA2, and then TP53. Okay. These are 3 genes.
So these are codings. These are genetic codes.
Yeah, genetic codes I'm mentioning. Yeah. So normally you hear it in the hospital as the BRCA gene 1, BRCA 2, TP53. So this any woman who is having this genetic makeup in her system is at risk of getting breast cancer.
Okay.
So with that one, when the woman comes and reporting of lump, and we are seeing there's various signs and so on, one of the things the doctor might suggest is for you to get the screening. Okay. You'll be screened for that particular gene. Once we see that, then we know exactly how to handle this particular situation, because meaning that it is something that is with you. Then the other risk factor will be familiar in nature. Familiar in nature means that if you have a relative, most often first degree relative, talking about your mom, a sibling who had suffered from breast cancer before, it's likely that you also have an increased risk to suffering the same breast cancer. And then, so those are the lifestyles you cannot change. Then when we come to the ones you can change, It is believed that people who are overweight, obese people also have increased risk of breast cancer. So, meaning that now we can change with exercise, you can clear all the weight. Women who smoke, women who abuse alcohol, all these ones too are also risk factors that can put a woman at risk to breast cancer. So, so that's what I would say about it.
Okay, so the topic is getting very, very interesting along the line. Let's. I would want to quickly use this opportunity to inform our people, our listeners, and our viewers that this program is proudly sponsored by Insura Gary Mix. Insura Gary Mix, and as the name implies, Charlie, it be Gary Mix. Gary Mix, the right now the way that the system day, if you don't get a Gary Mix, my guy. So the Gary Mix here contains all that you need, you know, all the things, both physical and then what do you call it? I want to use the right scientific word for how best I want to express myself. But then the nutrients, okay, so the nutrients in the food, which is the Insura Gary Mix, is just, you know, awesome. So you have your Gary, you have your sugar, some peanuts, and so on, you know, in there. Let me just quickly run through the Insura Gary Mix. So we have sugar, peanuts, we have Gary, of course, that's the main killer. We have milk powder, natural soya, and then natural ginger, and all these things come together, you know, to make the big Insura Gary Mix. So Charlie, you guys should just you know, link up, and then let me show you where you can get this nice meal from. And the woman is exceptional. She's doing a great job in the country, you know, also extending her tentacles, taking some outside the country for our Ghanaians, you know, outside to also enjoy our favorite Gary Mix. So that is Insura Gary Mix for you. I want to quickly go to Facebook so that we see if we can get some few comments from our Facebook page. And like I'm saying, you can also get interactive with us on 055,300, 055,300, and we'll be glad to have you, you know, with us. So let's quickly look at some few comments from our Facebook page. I think we have a little issue with our network, so we'll work on that. So Doc, back to you. What do we do? Are there any things or anything that we can do to you know, to handle this particular issue?
I think we are doing one right now, creating awareness.
Okay.
Because we've realized that most people report so late to the hospital with their condition. Why? Simply because they've not really heard about these breast cancer menace going around in the world. And breast cancer is one of the cancers that, regardless of how technology has increased in this century, it's still something that we are struggling with. So it's we'll say that we should create proper awareness. Tell someone, if you're listening to us, tell someone, share the link, let someone know that talking about breast cancer, and you might be saving a life. You never know. So let's create awareness. So that's the first place that we can do as a global entity. But when it comes to the individual level, we also encourage self-breast examination. Check it yourself. Do it yourself. I'm sure in the course of the program, I'll get some time to be able to teach our listeners and then those viewers on how to self-examine at home. So you can do that yourself at home. And then husbands, help your wives to check. Help your wives.
Okay, so about that, helping our wives to check. You earlier you made mention of these memes that is going around. You know, the boys are all happy. My men are all happy that you know, medically proven that, you know, when the breast is is it medically proven that when the breast?
I'm listening to you. You said medically proven.
Yes, yes. Anyway, that is what is in the air.
Okay.
And the comment is, it is said or medically proven that if the breast is continuously massaged or it is sagged, it reduces the
onset of breast cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, I've also seen that going around, and I think just this week, Monday, I was also giving a lecture at my church on breast cancer, and the same thing was said, and I was like, it's a lie. It has been a lie, and it will continue to be a lie.
Really?
I'm yet to read an article. I'm yet to read a medically oriented article on how sucking of breast is going to alleviate or prevent cancer. I'm yet to see one. Really? And also, there is a little bit of truth in the sense that women who breastfeed, I'm talking about breastfeeding mothers, lactating mothers who are producing milk, are at a lower risk of getting breast cancer.
Okay.
So I am thinking maybe that is where the notion came from. But now let's take the thing that the woman who is lactating is obviously producing milk, which is cleaning her tubes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
So meaning that the tubes is constantly being cleansed as the milk is coming out.
Coming through.
But this sister, you are saying you want to suck her breast. She's not breastfeeding. She's not like she has no breast.
So she should come for test.
If you go and you are sucking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So my sisters, it's a lie from the pit of hell. Let's read it as such. If you go, you will get pregnant. I'm sure
you are spoiling some boys' business.
The guys will not be happy with me.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's also right that we send the right information out there, because I don't know where it came from. And it's even interesting that I've even seen people leading societies, queen mothers, chiefs. There's this man, and they were saying the same thing and so on. And I always keep asking, who was the first person that came out with this thing? You see, and reading around, I came across just one particular blog, not even an article, that was talking about, referring to some research that was done on about 60 women and all that and so on. And medically, in the world of science, we don't see that number as a big number enough to be used to generalize everything on the population. Give me something about 6,000 women who were tested, 10,000, 100,000. Yes, with that one we can generalize on the entire population. But 60, 20, nah, they still need to come back and prove it well. So as it stands now for me, it's a lie.
So that statement that sucking reduces.
It's only the ways the boys are using to do their own thing.
All right, so this is an information from our resource person, Dr. Jude. He's saying that please, the guys who are propagating this particular information, please, let's put a stop to it, because sucking does not reduce the risk. Sucking does not reduce the risk. Neither is fondling and then vigorous. It's not even saying vigorous pressing and all that. So all these things, please, it does not reduce the risk. And so we are not really giving the right information to our ladies. So at the end of the day, they come and then we are making use. We are actually enjoying, but not helping them to overcome that kind of issue we are talking about here. So please, let's send this information out there. And the ladies who are also going for for their bodies to undergo that kind of stress, please, henceforth, Dr. Jude is saying that we need to check that, because it is not really right now. On Facebook, we have Esther Eland Mafo watching, and that is a wife to our doctor.
That's my wife.
Yes. She's watching right now. Thank you so much, wifey. We'll be home soon, don't worry. And then James Amwakumafo is also watching. He says, really enjoying the program. Very educative. Keep it up, guys. We need more of this. We need more of this anyway. So he says he's from James. That's James from Bema Camp. So James, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate that. Gabriel Tete, he says, well done, Jude. Yes, Jude, yeah, Charlie. well done, Ankasa, in 1,000-fold, because Charlie, it's not been easy. It has not been easy. It is just by the grace that our brother is here, and we are all grateful to God for that, Gifty Emisa says very educative, of course. That is what the youth agenda is all about. We educate and then we inform. So thank you so much, Gifty, for your message. We really appreciate the message coming in. Let it come as more as it should. Right. So, Doc, just getting closer to the end of our discussion, I want us to look at the remediation. If somebody finally is told that, or after several tests, the person realizes that, okay, this is what I have breast cancer. What do you do for such a person?
Oh, okay. I think this question is very important. Yeah. And like we always say, you being diagnosed with breast cancer is not and has never been a death sentence. Yeah. So the best thing to do is to turn in early. When you come in early, it can be solved at the earliest stage, and then you can still have your normal life back. The only problem we have is when patients walk in at the later stage. Anytime it comes to cancer, there are various stages that are used. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Yeah. So when you're at stage 1, mean that it's on the onset. Yeah. So that one can easily be alleviated. Mm-hmm. But when you come and then you're at stage 4, meaning the late stage of the cancer, meaning that the cancer has now done more harm to the body at that stage. Okay. That one, there's little we can do. Okay. You get it? And then I remember in China, most patients walk in, and then maybe my boss will say, with this level of cancer, that's when it is malignant cancer in nature, whereby it is metastasizing to, it is moving to other areas of the body. We normally advise amputation of the breast to carry it off. Wow. Because it's better to lose that than to lose important vital organs in the body. Wow. So then these women will be like, when I do that, I'm going to be less of a woman and so on. Mm-hmm. My people, you will never be less of a woman. So there are various methods or various treatments available. It's not every lump you find in your breast that is cancerous. Okay. Some are very, very harmless. And therefore, when you come in early, we can easily be able to help you out. And then, even if it is cancer, we now have to define whether it is benign or malignant. Okay. If it is benign, it's as easy as
let me know. I don't want to cut you. Okay. With the issue of amputating the breast, so what then happens to such people? What happens to them? What happens to them? Because one of the pride of a woman is the breast. Trust me. We as men, we know.
I don't say cutting it off to scare anybody. That one is if, and it's a very big if. It is if you are at the later stage, and then the tissues, about 80% of the tissue is being damaged already. And the breast is close to one vital organ here, the heart, the lungs. Oh, okay. So if this same cancer of the breast is now trying to invade the heart, invade the lungs. That's the issue. The best choice you have at this point is to save your heart and the lungs. Because if you lose your breast, you can still breathe, you can still run, you can still do everything normal. Yes. If you lose your lungs, you are gone. So then it's all about saving the patient's life here. That's when it's at the very, very late stage and nothing can be done. That's when we go to that option. So with that one, I believe now there are a lot of mechanisms in place. These prosthetic companies are doing so much. Okay. They have prosthetic breasts and so on out there that are available, that no one would even know that this is a prosthetic you are wearing, except when maybe you have to go to the room. And definitely, if your partner loves you, you definitely know about your state, because it's not something that you allow yourself to acquire. It can be genetic nothing you could do about it. So the person could be able to love you with or without your breast. So that is the extreme mode of treatment when you're at a later stage. But at the early stage, there are various methods. We have chemotherapy, whereby drugs are given to starve the cancerous cell. They will be starved of blood, of this, and then at the end of the day, they will shrink away and then they die. Then we have radiotherapy, whereby we have radio radiations are used to kill off the cancer. And then we can have a combination therapy whereby you are using both chemo and then the radiation therapy, the both. And then there are times when, like the extreme one I spoke about, where you can go on chemo and surgery. That's when harm has been caused to nearby organs. We would like to give you chemo to halt the invasion to the nearby organs, and then the surgery to take off the primary source of the cancer, which might be the breast. So there are various ways of which it can be solved. So the main key point in all I've said is that report early.
Early
check your breast. Check your breast. Check your breast.
Checking the
That's
breast.
all.
Keep checking the breast. We'll be talking to a nurse shortly, who would also want to give us her side of. Yeah, would also want to give us. So we'll go for a commercial break, and then when we come back, we'll talk to Mrs. Portia Yabua. All right.
something.
Okay, so welcome back from the commercial break. We have a beautiful lady online. She goes by the name Mrs. Portia Afari. Yes, by profession, and we want to take some few information, from her as far as the breast cancer is, involved. Mrs. Portia, you are welcome to Radio Angelus, the Youth Agenda.
Very much. And good to see your continuous support.
Okay, it's very unfortunate. We had wanted you in the studios, but I'm sure because of your busy schedules. So maybe next time we would want to see you here in the studios.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so about breast cancer, October chosen as the month for this particular issue relating to women. In your line of work as a nurse, what has been your experience with patients who have this particular issue? What has been your experience with them?
So, people get the cancer, but sometimes they get the local doctors. I mean, the house doctors who tell them, "Oh, apply these concoctions." I had a sister that got it, and then they use this, that, and then before you know, the whole issue has escalated. Then they'll bring it to the end stage, which most of the times there's little that can be done about it.
I see.
So mostly there's a lot of myths about the whole issue of cancer. It's actually a broad topic that needs to get really much attention when it comes to creating of awareness. Mostly in the remote areas, they don't really get access to information about this kind of. So that's the most important thing that we must focus on. As it stands.
Okay, so if I hear you right, it's about the awareness creation, and I think we are also helping in that right now. Trying to let wide far and near to understand that this menace is with us, and so we need to be very, very careful about it. Please, I want to find out if you can educate us a little on how to check this self-examination, Ghana Health Service, and then you as our leaders in the health front are encouraging self-examination. In a brief, can you just by words tell us how to self-examine ourselves, with regards to the cancer, please?
Okay, thank you. So what mostly is important, the first thing that you need to get when it comes to self-examination is, let's say, a mirror.
Okay.
You need to be standing in front of a mirror, and then you raise your hand.
Okay.
Mostly we are able to detect the lump from your armpit area into your breast.
Okay.
So mostly you stand in front of a mirror with like your hand above your head, like say you are trying to touch your ear, your other ear.
Okay.
Yes. So you create it in a circular motion.
Okay.
Armpit in a circular motion like that. All around the breast to where you started.
Okay.
So you began, let's from the armpit to go down in a circular motion.
In a circular motion.
That's where you started from.
Okay.
So then normally there's a normal lump in the breast.
Okay.
Normally there's a normal lump in the breast, but as you go, if there's a foreign material in your breast.
Okay.
So you do that, and sometimes it's even detected in the armpits.
Oh, okay.
It's that tricky. You sometimes detect it in the armpit.
So if you don't take care, you may think it's a boil. Looks like the feeling is like a boil, right? as a
Say again.
pompo be as a often say a pompo, that kind
Yes,
of thing.
exactly. And it's
Okay.
a lamp. It's hard still. So when you detect anything like that, the first thing you have to do is to report to the health facility so that you'll be checked.
Okay.
To know if there's something there or not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Finally, I want to you're on air. So if you have any information for our women who are listening to us, what advice will you give to the women out there with regards to their lifestyle and then this self-examination?
Okay. So what I would do is normalize self-examination breast cancer. You have to normalize it.
Okay.
It has to be something that should be part of you.
Your daily
so
activities.
when you do that, you are able to detect it fast, and then the proper care and treatment is being given.
Okay.
But if, let's say, you've never had that kind of examination, you've never conducted that examination on yourself, there might be something there that will be growing day by day.
Okay.
So when you normalize and do the necessary, avoid the risk factors and all that, keep your body in shape.
Okay.
The exercise.
Exercise. Okay.
Be sure you will all be good to go.
Okay.
So, all listen to our health professionals and the media, whatever information that is being passed to us.
Okay.
So that we will curb this menace.
Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you, with us. Thank you so much, and God bless you. My regards to the family. We will meet very soon.
All right.
Okay. All right. All right. So that is Mrs. Portia Yeboah. She is a nurse by profession, and I'm sure that we have tapped a lot of information from her as well. We've tapped a lot of information from her as well. Thank you so much, Mrs. Portia. So back to you, Doc. From the nurse, she mentioned that sometimes it appears in the armpit.
Yeah.
So it hides like that.
Yeah, so that's what I was mentioning about lymph nodes in the axilla.
Okay.
Okay, let me use the armpit because in medical we call it axilla region.
Okay.
There are a group of lymph nodes over there. Some are very deep in there. So when she said at times it might appear in the armpit, she's exactly right. Because like I said, the lymph nodes are one of the tissues, if I put it that way, that are able to receive lymph. Lymph nodes receive lymph from cancerous cells. So cancerous cells more or less like discharge their garbage first into the lymph node. So the lymph nodes are able to are most often the place we detect this thing. So when maybe want to test for the origin of a cancerous cell,
you go for the
we use a lymph node. There is this test we call the sentinel lymph nodes. So a dye is pumped over there to see the exact lymph node that received the first sign of the cancer. And remember, we are able to identify the sentinel lymph node. We can trace it back to look for the main origin of the cancer. So yes, at times they might hide in the armpit. And you spoke about a boil. A boil is more like very stationary. It doesn't move left to right and so on. But with this one, when there's a lump there, when you rub your finger on it,
goes and comes.
your finger slips over it and all that. That's what we are talking about. There are times you might even feel swollen lymph nodes on your neck, around the back of your auricle and all that. That is a feeling like that. Lymph nodes mostly help us to know when maybe someone is having an infection, a fever, and so on. You can feel some swollen lymph nodes in the neck and so on.
And even I think under sometimes we see that kind of. I don't know if I'm right. There's sometimes it's like a bow. I don't know.
Under the jaw. That's the submandibular lymph nodes. So we have a lot of them. About 600 to 800 in all. But majority of them, about 300 are found only around the neck area. So from here, we can have one here, which is the
Okay.
temporal lymph node.
Okay.
Around here, we have one here, which we spoke about, the submandibular. We have one here in the grooves of the neck, the clavicular lymph nodes, and so on. So there are a lot of them.
There are a lot.
So they also help us to be able to detect illnesses in time. And as at how they portray themselves and so on, can give us a fair idea as to what we are dealing with and how to tackle it. So, like she said, self-check.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Jude, for such a wonderful time. Your final comments, and if you have any shout-outs, you just roll it over, for us.
Final comments. I think I forgot to mention at what age you should try to visit the hospital for checkups. It's like in Ghana, we don't have that inbuilt habit of going to the hospital.
No.
We only go to the hospital when we are about dying or before we are dying. That's when we report to the hospital.
Yeah.
But when it comes to something like this, like cancer, one of the ways by which we can win this battle against breast cancer is when we make going to the hospital a habit. Because out there in China, people just walk in that today I want to do full body checkup. And that's when you are able to catch these small things that might be able to cause problems in the near future. So mostly we advise clinical checkups from age 18.
Okay.
The moment you are age 18 to age, say, 39, you should go for clinical checkups once every 3 years.
Okay.
This one,
This
everybody can do that,
should be able
right?
to do that,
Once every 3 years from age 18. But when you are someone, maybe you go for the clinical checkup for the first time, and they are able to screen you, and they find that you have the gene, the BRCA1, BRCA2, then there your doctor will now talk to you, because such a person is a high risk individual. So your doctor will now arrange with you as to how often
frequently
you should be coming. Then when you get to age 40 to 69, we don't only talk about this clinical visits only, but we have this scan we take, mammography, whereby the breast is placed on some more or less like an X-ray machine to scan it. So you should be taking mammography from time to time to be able to scan and so on. And as you advance in age, then the visits should be more frequent, maybe once a year should be okay to catch this thing early. And I think that's all I can say. And I believe one day we'll win this battle, definitely.
Yes. And your shout-outs, any shout-outs to...
Shout out, obviously, to my wife, because I know she's watching. And I think you read in the comment, James Amakuma, I think that's my younger brother. And my other brother's wife was also watching. I think Gifty Emisa. Shout out to all of them, my family, friends, and anybody I love, and who loves me too.
So, thank you so much, Pastor Jude. Yes, Nanaya Wandi is online. Yes, Nanaya, you are welcome. I'm sure you are not late anyway. You can still, watch all the information on Facebook Live, and it's nice. It's nice to have you, Nanaya, one day. All right. So, viewers, listeners, thank you so much for your time. It has been a wonderful drive here with Dr. Jude and able nurse Mrs. Portia Yeboah, talking to us on the breast, cancer. Doc, next week we will be discussing cervical cancer. So I don't know if you can also, find time to pass through. That would be very, very nice. We appreciate that.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, all right. Okay. So so next week we are talking about cervical cancer. It's a month for women. So breast cancer, cervical cancer, and then maybe the latter one we will discuss depression, which is also a general issue. Yeah, so it is a month for health, and so we have devoted this particular month for some very, very deep ailments that is harming us as Ghanaians or as Africans, and cervical cancer is one of them, a very, very dangerous disease. So please, our women, join us next week. Let's talk about cervical cancer. We will take our advertisement around for you to know how serious this issue is, and we will talk to you as such. Now, before we leave, I have a quote on health. It goes like this: says, "Time and health are two precious assets. Time and health are two precious assets that we do not recognize and appreciate until they are depleted." Time and health are two precious assets that we do not recognize and appreciate until they are depleted. And that is a quote for the evening. So let us take our time and our health very, very seriously before they deplete. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful time with you. I go by the name Mark Mensah. They call me MC NLG, and we are out of here. It is the Youth Agenda. Bye.